Did you already open yours?
I just opened it right now.
Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Abyss. What are you drinking, Cleet? That was a hefty sigh.
I'm drinking Ninja versus Unicorn. Double India Pale Ale.
I've had that one before.
Well, I'm drinking it again.
Nice. I'm drinking Red Eye Imperial Red Ale from UTOG Brewing Company. Is it Utog or Utog? Utog?
Oh, yeah, it's because you like that UTOGO song, right?
What? I don't know if I know what song you're referencing, man. Did you just make up a song?
I bet. No. UTGTOG. I don't know what it is. All right.
What are you spelling? You're just throwing random
I don't know,
letters
man.
out
I've never really listened to it. My wife likes it. Well, happy Spooktober, everybody.
Yes, it's officially October.
I think ever since the P. Diddy situation, we need to kind of come back to the Celebrity Conspiracy Iceberg.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, though, is the Diddy thing's not a conspiracy. Yeah. That's an actual thing.
Well, hang on. They're accusations. Yeah, I know the Fed has a 99% conviction rate, but there's a chance that he might not be doing weird stuff with the gallons of baby oil he had from Costco.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean,
that's fair. You're not on TikTok, right? Like, do you do TikTok at all?
Not that much.
There's this guy who, I don't know, he's this really southern guy, and he's hilarious, but he always ranks things from 1 to 10 that he would do random shit with, and he's like, things I'd take a shot of, and one of them came to like baby oil. He's like, what is this, a fucking Diddy party? I was laughing pretty hard.
Yeah, I bet you're really grateful you didn't go to a Diddy party. Right, Britton?
Yeah, I feel kind of left out. Take that out. No, I'm not. I'm not sad about it. No, we're good.
So I took a screenshot and sent something over to Britton last week. We passed, we were at 666 subs on YouTube, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, hey guys, stop subscribing right now.
Thanks, Satan.
Yeah. Satan took part in that. It was a pivotal moment. Like, I'll post a screenshot on Facebook so you guys can see it, but it was really cool. It was 666 subscribers. And thank you to all 666 plus of you.
Let us know if we should cover P. Diddy in a future episode. Maybe do a deep dive into the depravity of baby oil, honey traps, and other celebrities.
You want to do a deep dive into some baby oil there, Cleet? Is that what you're saying? You really want to cover baby oil?
Could you imagine that though? Like someone like, it reminds me of I think it was like a Dave Chappelle skit where he was like doing some fun stuff with himself, and he gets a tape on the doorstep, and it's like, you need to pay us this amount or we're gonna release this. He plays the tape, whips it out again. And does it again, and then he gets another tape in the mail.
Just an endless loop of tapes.
You need to pay us, or we're gonna publish this.
What is this, Drake?
All right.
But yeah, as Cleet alluded to earlier, we're back to the Celebrity Conspiracy Theory Iceberg, Tier 2. Technically, Tier 2 is below the surface. Because Tier 1 was surface level. Tier 2 were below the surface. And then Tier 3 will be into the depths.
All right, well, tonight we're going to be diving into the strange, the controversial, and the downright unbelievable. Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and start. The first one we'll cover is Tom Cruise's rise in Scientology. We've all heard about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Weird thing with Scientology. So let's talk about it. To understand how Cruise got so deeply tied to Scientology, we need to rewind back to the 1980s. His first wife, Mimi Rogers, was the one who introduced him to the church. Now, Rogers came from a family that was already involved in Scientology. Her father was a prominent member, but Cruise's real involvement didn't take off until the 1990s, when he crossed paths with David Miscavige, the current leader of Scientology. From that point on, their relationship skyrocketed. Miscavige and Cruise became inseparable, so much so that they were often spotted vacationing together. Miscavige even reportedly served as Cruise's best man at his wedding to Katie Holmes. Cruz, in turn, became one of the most vocal public defenders of Scientology, using his fame to promote the church's message. Now, according to former Scientologists who have left the church, the level of devotion that Scientology has shown to Cruz is mind-blowing. Some claim that the church members were assigned to renovate Cruz's property.
What?
And serve as his personal assistants. But perhaps the strangest allegation is that the church was actively involved in finding romantic partners for Cruz.
Find me a pretty woman, Scientology.
I mean, kind of seems like a good deal. Could you imagine, like, you join a religion and they're just like, yeah, dude, we'll renovate your entire house. We'll bring women for...
Yeah, but the question is, how much money is he putting into it, though?
I think it's not money, it's influence he's paying with.
Yeah, I mean, both. I mean, I'm sure he's funneling some money into it. I don't have to dive into the whole money funneling.
Yeah. Influence... I would peg it, the influence, much higher than the money. That's probably why they're doing what they're doing with this gentleman.
You would peg it, huh?
But anyways, yeah, peg.
Peg
Good old Peggy.
Peg it hard.
Yet, there are rumors that the church orchestrated a form of matchmaking to pair Cruz with women who would fit their idea of a suitable partner, including orchestrating his high-profile relationship with actress Nicole Kidman and Katie Holmes. And that's not all. Defectors say Cruz has access to resources that only the top leadership of the church can use. Some reports suggest that the church assigned members to act as a security detail, while others were tasked with performing household duties for the actor. Essentially, Cruz is treated like royalty within the church, with privileges that few, if any, other members enjoy. Now, officially, the Church of Scientology doesn't publish ranks or titles, but many believe that Cruz holds an honorary executive status within the organization. That means he may not have an administrative title, but his word carries serious weight. Former members say that Cruz has access to privileged information about the church's operations that Miscavige treats him like a trusted confidant. And if you've ever seen the leak in 2004 recruitment video, you know exactly how committed Cruz is to the cause. In the video, Cruz talks passionately about his responsibility to clear the planet, a phrase in Scientology meaning to rid the world of negative spiritual influences. It's not just PR to Cruz, he genuinely seems to believe in the mission. Of course, Cruz's involvement in the church hasn't been without controversy. His marriages to Nicole Kidman and Katie Holmes has been closely scrutinized, with many alleging that the churches influenced both unions. Nicole Kidman's father was a psychologist, and since Scientology views psychiatry as an enemy, the church reportedly saw Kidman as a threat. Their divorce followed soon after. And then there's Katie Holmes. Many believe she planned her divorce from Cruz in secret to protect their daughter, Siri, from growing up inside the church. Holmes kept everything under wraps until the last moment, indicating she was afraid of the church's potential retaliation. All right, everyone. If you thought this story couldn't get any weirder, let me introduce you to one of the strangest and most infamous aspects of Scientology, the story of Xenu and the Galactic Confederacy. This is where things really dive off the deep end. According to the church's secret scriptures, teachings are only revealed to members who reach the advanced OT3 level. Xenu was a galactic overlord who ruled a confederation of planets 75 million years ago. Supposedly, Xenu was facing overpopulation, so he rounded up billions of beings, froze them, and transported them to Earth. Then, known as Tikazak, I butchered it, I don't fucking care. It's already fake. I'm going to call it what I want. I think it's Tigyak. In spaceships that resembled DC-8 airliners, once here, he detonated hydrogen bombs in volcanoes to destroy the beings, and their souls, called Thetans, were left to wander the planet. These Satans supposedly attached themselves to humans, causing spiritual distress. Now, if this sounds like science fiction, you're not alone. Many outsiders were stunned.
Oh, you think?
When this story came to light. But for Scientologists, these teachings are considered sacred and members pay thousands of dollars to reach the level where they are allowed to access them. So, what does this all mean for Tom Cruise? Well, his relationship with Scientology isn't just about personal belief, it's about influence. Cruise brings visibility and legitimacy to the church in a way few others can. His star power draws attention, and he's helped normalize a religion that is often criticized for its secrecy and control. At the same time, Cruise's connection to Scientology has made him a lightning rod for criticism. For the Xenu story to allegations of coercion and control over his relationship, Cruise's involvement in the church has sparked endless speculation, and not all of it has been flattering. So, that's my deep dive into the strange and powerful world of Tom Cruise and Scientology. Whether he holds an official rank or not, there's no denying that Cruise's influence in the church runs deep. Between his close friendship with David Miscavige, the privileges he's been given, and the bizarre stories surrounding both the church and Cruise, it's safe to say this is one of the most fascinating intersections of celebrity and religion in modern times. And let's be real, when a church's secret teachings involve galactic overlords and frozen souls, you know you're dealing with something that's way beyond ordinary. I also want to state before I move it on to you, Britton, I believe that guy's wife, the leader of Scientology, has literally just disappeared and no one knows what's going on. And people think the guy killed her and people investigate, but it's always gone into dead ends. So,
I mean, he has a lot of power, so he could make her disappear. All right, well, way to kick us off with Tom Cruise. We're going to jump into a little, a celebrity that some of you might know, Britney Spears. Hit me, baby, one more time. So
it's about domestic violence, Britton. It's not okay.
I know. The amount of conspiracy theories that surround Britney Spears is kind of crazy because, the one on the iceberg literally says Britney Spears is a government pawn, but there really wasn't anything like governmental pawn. I think it has to do with the conservatorship and her supposed disappearance. But let's jump into it because this one gets kind of wild. So the theory that we're going to be talking about in this iceberg claims that the infamous singer and performer Britney Spears is actually a government pawn. Now, when you kind of dig for conspiracy theories around celebrities, you either get a bunch of crazy rabbit holes that branch off into so many different directions, or you just kind of get a whole bunch of nothing and cover-ups. But for the sake of time, we're going to obviously do a high-level overview of this conspiracy. If you do want us to do a deep dive on this or any of the conspiracies, just email us at entertheabysspod@gmail.com. I think anyone's unaware of the entire conservatorship issue with Britney Spears and her father, who basically controlled every aspect of her life during her infamy, including the wealth she amassed, which is a lot, but I'm not sure that's what this conspiracy is referring to. When her conservatorship ended, Britney took to social media, sending out eerie and cryptic messages, which millions of followers took as a cry for help. In one Instagram post, she detailed the exact make and model of a sports car, a Porsche 911 Carrera. Many people wondered if this was Britney's attempt at asking for someone to call 911, possibly reporting her as kidnapped. TikTokers went to a live stream to discuss the post, and thousands showed up in an attempt to dissect the meaning of this post. These conspiracies spiraled deeper and deeper, resulting in many to believe that she was being held in a mental health facility against her will. Now, this isn't entirely unbelievable, as it had already happened once in April of 2019 when she entered a treatment center for, and I quote, emotional distress over her father's health issues. Now, of course, her father was the one with the conservatorship, so maybe he had something to do with the messaging? I don't know. Several pictures and videos began to surface online, including Britney driving a car or eating at a restaurant. I mean, I'm sure you've seen several of the pictures where it just flooded the internet. The photo of her eating at a restaurant featured her holding a menu over her face to avoid being filmed and photographed. But her behavior was deemed as manic. Literally, she's just holding a menu up over her face, and someone's like, that's manic behavior. Something's going wrong. That's not really her.
Britney, let me take a picture of you, Britney.
Exactly. What would you think if you see someone holding a menu up and they're like, oh, that's just manic behavior? It's no, you're being a dickhead. Let her eat it at her fucking restaurant.
Quit being such a fucking dickhead.
Quit being such a wanker. Let me see your face. Britney took to deleting her account on Instagram, which led many people to worry about her safety even further, wondering if that was her deleting it or someone that was forcing her to do it against her will. Then, what I believe this theory is based on, came the viral TikTok videos of Britney Spears dancing. So the videos are odd, to say the least. Have you seen these videos of her dancing, like the one with the knives, too?
No.
It's so bad. So she looks really disheveled and out of place, dancing randomly in her home as well as in her yard. Despite the random dancing, the theories go deep into claiming that the videos are a fake, using green screens as a background and facial masking to give the appearance that Britney Spears is who we're actually watching. Now, several people who have seen the video know what I'm talking about with them being weird, but there's one specific video where she's dancing while wielding knives, like the big fucking butcher kitchen knives. It's really weird. Some people broke the videos down, focusing on the background closely, noting how certain areas would glitch or change suddenly due to a movement. Like there would be like a corner of the room that would like glitch and like change really quick, and then outside there's one where she's dancing next to like a yard light that like flickers on and off. It's just really weird. Like it doesn't look normal. At one point, Britney waves her hands in front of her face, which seemingly breaks the masking illusion. For a brief moment, you can make out eyes that clearly aren't hers before the filter restores and puts her face back into order. Like they like did the video in slow motion when she goes down like this, like there's different eyes that are above her mouth, and then it like quickly snaps back. So like millions of people like dissected this stuff, and it's like, that's not Britney. What's going on? Like, who the fuck are we watching?
Leave Britney alone.
Yeah, I guess that person's still like active and doing stuff. I don't know. It's weird. Sleuths all over slowed the video down to highlight that moment, as well as others, to convince those watching that what we're seeing isn't actually Britney. A few people began experimenting with certain filters that can be uploaded and used in TikTok videos, and they were able to narrow a few of them down. They're able to pinpoint a certain filter that was being used. Now, it doesn't exactly prove that it's a fake Britney Spears, just that a filter was being used for whatever reason. The question that's brought up from this entire conspiracy theory is, what are they covering up, and why are they resulting to using a fake Britney? Some think that her conservatorship never actually ended and that she is indeed not free. Others, as previously mentioned, suggest that Britney's being held against her will in some facility. Some theories go as far as to say is that Britney Spears is actually dead, and to cover her up, they use deep fakes to pretend that she's just dancing and fine and everything's dandy.
Yeah, she's probably dead.
So what do you think? Do you think she's dead, missing, and they're just like some random lady who's dancing, pretending to be Britney Spears?
Maybe she's dead and they're pretending she's alive. That's why they have a filter.
Probably.
A Britney filter. All right. So let's jump over to Rhianna, and that she isn't just a global pop star, but a high priestess in the Illuminati. Yeah, Britain, you've heard that right. Some people believe that Rhianna plays a central role in a secret Illuminati rituals. Is there any truth to this, or is this just another conspiracy cooked up by the internet?
It's true. It's fucking true.
We're going to explore the origins of this theory, some of the so-called evidence, and how Rhianna has responded to the rumors. So, let's grab our beers and let's jump in. I'm going to take a sip. It's about to get weird.
I love when they approach the celebrities about the conspiracy. It's like, hey, tell us about this. Like, what do you think about it?
All right, let's start at the beginning. The Illuminati, if you are unfamiliar, is an old-school conspiracy theory claiming that an elite secret society controls world events. This theory has been rebranded and modernized over the years, now suggesting that celebrities and world leaders are members of the Illuminati and participate in hidden rituals designed to maintain power and control. Rihanna's name first popped up in connection with the Illuminati in the early 2010s, right around the release of some of her most popular music videos. Specifically, the symbolism in videos like Umbrella, Disturbia, and We Found Love sparked a flurry of online speculation. People started pointing out alleged signs and symbols, everything from triangles and the all-seeing eyes to occult imagery, claiming that Rihanna's videos weren't just edgy visuals, but ritualistic displays. So where does the idea of Rhianna being a high priestess come from? Well, Conspiracy theorists say that her music videos and public appearances are filled with occult references. They claim Rhianna isn't just a member of the Illuminati, but serves a higher role, someone who helps lead rituals and symbolizes the group's dominance over the entertainment industry. The famous example, the Umbrella music video, conspiracy theorists argue that the imagery in this video represents Rhianna being initiated in the Illuminati. They point to the scene where she's covered in silver paint, contorted in unnatural poses, or dancing inside a triangle-shaped frame. For believers, these visuals symbolize Rhianna selling her soul in exchange for fame and fortune. To them, the umbrella is a metaphor for the protection under the Illuminati's influence. Then there's her 2012 hit Diamonds. In this video, Rhianna holds her hands in a triangular shape, something that conspiracy theorists interpret as a reference to the Illuminati's all-seeing eye. Never mind that the gesture looks like a diamond, matching the song title. They are convinced it's a shout-out to the Illuminati. Okay, well, let's talk about her live performances. Some believe that Rhianna's concerts, especially her appearances at the events like the MTV VMAs and the Super Bowl halftime show, aren't just performances, but elaborate rituals in disguise. One of the biggest examples of this theory came after her 2023 Super Bowl halftime show. During the show...
That's when she was like massively pregnant in, right?
Yeah, supposedly. I'm kidding.
She's giving birth to the lizard people.
Rhianna wore a striking red outfit while being surrounded by dancers dressed in white. For many conspiracy theorists, this wasn't just a costume choice, it was symbolic. Some claimed the red represented the sacrificial role of a high priestess, while the dancers represented followers or initiates in the Illuminati ritual. Even weirder, theorists often analyze the hand gestures and poses that Rhianna make during her performances. Simple movements like covering one eye or holding her hands in a triangle are seen as coded messages, signaling her alignment with the Illuminati.
I just have to say, like, being a hardcore conspiracy theorist just seems exhausting. Can you imagine watching the halftime show being like, holy shit, get everything there. Like, look at the color schemes. Look at the way she's holding her hands. She covered an eye. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
slowing it down 20 times.
Like, massively digesting it, regurgitating it, trying to find any sort of symbolism. Yep, it's the Illuminati, 100%.
Well, hang on here. Things get even more interesting. Rhianna has never directly denied these rumors. In fact, some say that she plays into them. She's posted cryptic photos on her social media, including one where she's wearing a necklace with Egyptian ankh, a symbol often associated with ancient occult practices. In 2012, Rhianna posted a photo on Twitter showing herself sitting on a bed with the caption, "Princess of the Illuminati." Now, was she trolling her fans and the conspiracy theorists, or was it a subtle nod at something deeper? It's hard to say. Rhianna has also been photographed wearing clothes that feature occult symbols such as goats and serpents, imagery that believers link to Satanism and Illuminati rituals. But here's the thing. Rhianna seems to have fun with these rumors. In interviews, she's laughed off the idea of being part of the Illuminati, suggesting that people are reading way too much into her creative choices.
It's like, guys, I'm just creative. Get off the fucking conspiracy train and take it for what it is. I like wearing red. I like wearing sweatshirts with goats on them. I'm not a part of the Illuminati. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
All right, now hold on to your tinfoil hats because we're about to get really out there. A fringe group of theorists take this conspiracy even further by suggesting that Rhianna isn't entirely human. Yep, we're talking about the reptilian conspiracy. This theory claims that a group of shape-shifting reptilians, beings, secretly rule the world, and that some high-profile celebrities, including Rhianna, are either reptilian themselves or under the control of these beings. According to this theory, Rhianna's role as a high priestess involves channeling the power of these reptilian entities during her performance. Now, does this theory hold water? Not really, but it just goes to show how wild these beliefs can get. So, where does that leave us? Is Rhianna really a high priestess of the Illuminati, conducting rituals through her music videos and performances, or is that just a bunch of malarkey? coincidences mixed with internet paranoia. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Rhianna is an artist who likes to push boundaries and play her bold imagery that some people interpret as occult symbolism. Whether she's trolling the conspiracy theorists or not, Rhianna seems perfectly comfortable with the rumors swirling around her. And, yeah, maybe she is, maybe she's not, man.
I mean, why wouldn't you play into it? That's so much publicity. Like, maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
Maybe I'm a reptile, maybe I'm a mammal. I don't know.
The thing is like, it's funny because a lot of the celebrities, when they're brought up with this, like, let's talk about this conspiracy theory, they're always like, that's just so random, that's so strange, it's not it.
Oh, I'm not a kleptomaniac. Like a TV falls out of their jacket.
Can you imagine if someone's like, yeah, I am part of the Illuminati, and then just let it go? Like, I am, 100%. What do you want to do about it?
Why do you have a bunch of watches in your pocket? I am not a kleptomaniac.
Leave it alone. Shut up. Shut up. Well, speaking of the reptilian control, that bleeds perfectly into the next one involving celebrity known as Justin Bieber from Canada, eh?
Poor Bieber, man.
I know. He
poor Bieber. Yeah, I used to not like him, but damn, dude, man, I'm so sorry, Bieber.
Yeah.
Bieber, I'm sorry, man.
He has a lot of shit happening. So speaking of the whole reptilian plague, again, jumping into Justin Bieber, this one doesn't suggest a disappearance or a death. According to an Australian news website, Perth Now, Justin Bieber was seen by hundreds of fans shape-shifting into a giant reptile at the Perth airport in Perth, Australia. The article, which was taken down only an hour after being published, claimed that Bieber's head shrunk. His eyes went black with stripes down the center. He grew taller and had scales that covered his entire body. Just think of like getting an autograph from him and he just shapeshifts into a fucking lizard. People would lose their fucking minds.
Like eats a cricket on the floor.
Just scuttles around, his tongue flicks out. One fan stated, "It happened so fast, but everyone saw it and started screaming and crying. A lot of people were running for the exits." Another fan said there were girls hiding in the toilets, locking themselves in the cubicles, crying. Guys were running for the exits, jumping in taxis to get out of there. It was mayhem. As these stories started to spread, other websites and news publishers took the bait and began posting their own spins on the claim of the Canadian reptilian shapeshifters we know as Bieber. One site claimed that Bieber comes from a dominant reptilian Illuminati bloodline called the Babylonian Brotherhood, which strives to bring forth a new world order. I think we've talked a lot about the new world order and reptiles.
But not Diddy.
No, I've not talked about Diddy yet. I'm sure if there was like an 11th tier of the iceberg, Diddy would be right up there at the top.
Oh, yeah.
If you want crazy new world order conspiracies, check out our Conspiracy Theory Iceberg series we did earlier, because there's definitely no shortage there. There was a previous article in 2014 when Bieber was arrested and booked for street racing while on drugs and alcohol. You know, he was just getting crunk and driving cars. You remember that, right, Cleet?
Wasn't he like running away from somebody?
That's what, yeah, there was a couple claims that he was like running from somebody. That's at least that's what he was saying. Yeah, from Diddy. He was running from the baby oil.
He's coming for me. He's running away from his past, man.
Yeah, well,
you just can't drive fast enough.
You can when you're drunk. The clip reportedly shows Bieber's eyes blink and change into those same rumored reptilian eyes. So, what do you think, Cleet? Do you think that Bieber is a reptilian shapeshifter? Maybe in cahoots with Rhianna?
Oh, I'm sure he's part of some type of control mechanism.
Oh, definitely.
Where dirt has been filmed about him. But, you know, that's about it.
But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of these things, like and I think it's safe to say that like very famous people, a lot of people gather around going, how did they get so famous? How did this person do so much? They're a reptile. They're in with the devil. They're in with the Illuminati.
I think it's more along the lines of they seem to promote ideas that don't really align within their self-interest, and it all happens in unison. almost as if like someone calls him and says, "Hey, you got to say this or we got some dirt." Diddy's going to release a tape. Well, this one's about Michael Jackson, the king of pop. He faked his own death. You ready for this one? Hee hee! Ha ha! On June 25th, 2009, the world was shocked by the news that Jackson had died from cardiac arrest at his Los Angeles home. But almost immediately, rumors started swirling that the story wasn't as simple as it seemed. Some fans are convinced that Michael staged his own death, escaping the relentless pressures of fame and controversy. Today, we'll break down the evidence, explore the theories, and figure out if there's anything to this idea or if it's just a bunch of malarkey.
Malarkey. Is that the word of the day, malarkey?
I guess so, man.
I'm here for it.
Let's start with the most obvious question. Why would someone as famous as Michael Jackson want to fake his own death? By the time he passed away in 2009, Jackson's life had been a whirlwind of lawsuits, allegations, and media scrutiny. His financial situation was also dire, with mounting debts and pressure to deliver on a world tour he had promised. The This Is It tour was supposed to be Jackson's comeback, but those closest to him say he was overwhelmed by the demands of preparing for the shows. Fans argue that faking his death would have been the ultimate escape, a way to leave behind the chaos of fame, the lawsuits, and the relentless media attention, while still living in peace, far from the public eye. The logic here is that Jackson, tired of the world's expectations, staged his own death to reclaim his life on his own terms. Now, here's where things get interesting. Fans who believe that Jackson is still alive have gathered a whole list of supposed clues and inconsistencies surrounding his death. Let's go through some of the biggest ones. The first one is the ambulance photo. The most widely shared piece of evidence is the ambulance photo taken as Jackson was reportedly being rushed to the hospital. Some fans claim the man in the photo doesn't look exactly like Jackson, pointing out discrepancies in facial features. Others argue that the image was intentionally staged. There's also the infamous helicopter video, where Jackson's body was supposedly being transported from the hospital to the coroner's office. In the footage, a figure inside the helicopter briefly sits up and moves. The fans argue that this was Jackson himself, alive and escaping. 3. The Michael Jackson impersonator theory. Some believe that Jackson didn't actually die, but instead used a look-alike to stand in for him during public appearances leading up to his death. According to this theory, the real Michael had been planning his exit for years, leaving hints that only devoted fans would notice. Another big part of this theory involves alleged sightings of Michael Jackson since 2009.
I'll say, this is just like Elvis. People claim to see Elvis all over the fucking place. Like, dude, people die. It's sad. It sucks. But they die.
Hey, I wouldn't be shocked if he faked his own death. Or, I think another one. Well, I'll leave this till the end. Anyways, I'm going to jump back in. People claim to have spotted him in several places, most famously in Paris, Bahrain, and even the background of one of his family reality TV shows. One of the most bizarre sightings came in 2016, where a man in a bathroom stall claimed he heard a hee-hee and some moonwalking happening in the stall next to him.
You made that shit up. Don't even fucking lie. You just fucking came up with that shit, right? Hee-hee. I was dropping a log and I heard a moonwalk in the corner. Hee-hee. Ow! And then a bunch of fucking baby oil exploded all over the place, and Dee Dee came out of nowhere.
All right, hang on here. So back to this bizarre sighting. When a man resembling Jackson was spotted walking the streets of Spain, photos of this man quickly went viral, with fans insisting it was Jackson in disguise. There's also the claim that Jackson attended his own funeral disguised as a man named Dave, a longtime family friend who appeared on Larry King Live the night after Jackson's memorial service. Fans argued that the man's voice and mannerisms were suspiciously similar to Michael's. Now, we can't talk about wild conspiracy theories without bringing up the Illuminati into the conversation.
Of course.
Some fans believe that Jackson's death or supposed disappearance was related to the Illuminati. Here's the theory. Jackson was allegedly at odds with the elite powers that run the entertainment industry. According to some believers, Jackson's accusations of being controlled by powerful people, something he alluded to in interviews, put him in danger. They argue that faking his death was his way of escaping those forces before they could silence him for good.
You've been hit by, you've been struck by.
Smooth criminal. And then he moonwalked out of the bathroom. I swear,
Ow!
it sounded just like him.
It was Michael Jackson.
I couldn't get up in time.
Michael Jackson.
I couldn't get up in time. I had too much. I couldn't open the stall.
Taco Bell. I swear to God, I heard the moonwalk. It wasn't an impersonation. It was the Michael Jackson.
It was the real
I was in the
thing.
stall.
He did
I'm
the
not
whole
crazy.
song in there. He did the
It
whole
was
song.
Illuminati.
In a truck stop gas station.
He was in a Chevron in fucking Kentucky. I swear to God, I heard the Michael Jackson.
Da, 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 da. Ooh.
Ooh, ow.
All right. Another piece of evidence comes from Jackson's family members who have, at times, acted in ways that fans find suspicious. For example, Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter, has made cryptic social media posts that some interpret as hints that her father is still alive. During interviews, the members of the Jackson family have said things that fans claim sound like slips of the tongue. At one point, Jermaine Jackson referred to Michael's death as his departure, which led some to believe that he was hinting that Michael was still out there, somewhere. So, could it really be true? Did Michael Jackson fake his own death to escape the pressures of fame and live out the rest of his life in peace? While the evidence might seem compelling to some, there have been several reasons to doubt it. Faking your own death isn't easy as it sounds, especially when you are one of the most famous people in the world. There would have to be an elaborate cover-up involving medical staff, family members, and officials. The family's reaction, while the Jacksons' family behavior might seem unusual, there's no solid proof that they have been covering anything up. Most of their interviews and social media posts can be explained by the grief and stress of losing a loved one. Even if Jackson had faked his own death, he would have needed a large amount of money to maintain his new life. But at the time of his death, Jackson was facing serious financial problems, another factor that makes the theory unlikely. At the end of the day, the media that Michael Jackson faked his death might say more about his fans than about Jackson himself. For many, the thought of losing someone as iconic as Michael Jackson is just too hard to accept. His music, his artistry, and his influence were larger than life. So it's not surprising that some people believe that he found a way to escape the public eye and live on in secret. All right, that's it for me. And yeah, Britton, go right ahead, man.
Do you feel like there's any successful people faking their deaths?
I faked mine
it
several
happens often.
times. Ever since,
That's true.
I had to flee certain counties and states.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so let's jump into the next one. And because we're two fucking morons, we didn't get the timing right. So I'm going to do the last two because I was supposed to go first. That's my bad. We'll get through it. But we got the last two. The first one revolves around a very successful author. So let's take a trip to the magical world of witches and wizards and magic. Or at least someone who brought that world to life by creating one of, if not the most, notorious and famous imaginary worlds to all of us when they wrote their 7-book story of the wizarding school and the students it inhabited. I'm, of course, talking about J.K. Rowling, the wealthiest author in the world, amassing a net worth of $1 billion due to her very successful Harry Potter series. Now, Cleet, you read Harry Potter, right? Did you read them all?
I've never read a book.
That's okay. That's fair. I don't know why I ask you. You don't even know what reading is.
No, I read the first chapter and thought it was shit. I still think it's shit to this day.
Okay.
Even the movies. I think it's all shit.
Tough critic. Tough critic. This fact brings in the very reason that we're even discussing this conspiracy theory in the first place, with a claim that J.K. Rowling is only a front and not the person responsible for the series at all. In 2005, a Norwegian filmmaker named Nina Grunfeld made the argument that the Harry Potter series was written by an entire industry of writers who worked together to create the books. It continues its claim, stating that the work and all the credit was filtered down to the woman whose name is etched on the cover of the books as a front. Grunfeld asked the question, is it possible that a person can write 6 thick books that are translated into 55 languages and sell more than 250 million copies in less than 10 years? Obviously, there's 7 books, so there's a bit of a discrepancy there. But the question is the same. How can one person create such a massive world-altering phenomenon spanning into movies, reprints, merchandise, and an entire theme park dedicated to it in such a relatively short time? A similar inquiry was made in the first episode of this conspiracy surrounding the Beatles, who arguably changed music forever with their worldwide infamy. It's a baseline for multiple conspiracies. When someone becomes so ridiculously wealthy and famous, people gather together and ask the same question: how is it possible? So it is crazy to think about it, though, when you compare J.K. Rowling to George R.R. Martin, who is the author of Game of Thrones. Martin has yet to finish his Game of Thrones series, as we all eagerly await the last 2 installments. Martin published the first book back in 1996, almost 30 years ago, and the scope of the books and television series is massive, yet nowhere in comparison to the Harry Potter series, which was first published in the UK in 1997, only a year later. So, the theory does state, again, that there's a multitude of people who got together and wrote the Harry Potter series, but instead of saying, hey, we all got together and wrote this thing, they put J.K. Rowling into the spotlight and said, here you go, here's the credit. So what do you think, Cleet? You think it's possible?
No, I think it's stupid. I mean, if you're going to write something that appeals to the mass public, you're just writing to the lowest common denominator. So it's probably not the most quality work. It's just the one most appealing for the masses. Case closed.
So what you're saying is she appealed to the most masses out of any author possible.
Well, it's not even the most popular book.
It's not the most popular book. She's the most infamous author, though. The highest paid, the wealthiest author in the history.
That doesn't mean anything.
I mean, it means something. Like,
you tell me Lord of the Rings wasn't beaten by her? I don't buy that for 1 minute. No. Where's the numbers here? I don't buy it. Either way, just because you're paid the most doesn't mean you're the smartest person in the room.
No, I never claimed to be the smartest. I said the most wealthy. Wealthy and smarts is not the same thing.
Well, no, your theory was that it was so wealthy. Now you're just changing the I was responding to the argument you presented. What? And then you're twisting my words to something I wasn't even saying.
What are you talking about?
You're on crack, man. You gotta.
No, I asked you what you thought, and you said they're appealing to them. I was just asking questions because I wrote them down.
No.
I don't believe either way. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how much Tolkien would have been amassed because he died, obviously. I think, obviously, it's like when you're comparing, like, fictional works of art, I think his obviously are way more put together and obviously way more, I don't know, what's the word, lucrative. But hers, in such a short time, like, she's insanely wealthy. You know?
It's called lightning in a bottle, right? Yeah. She just happened to write something that was a hit. Blind luck.
And the story is she wrote the first book almost entirely on a napkin in a diner. Or
I don't know if I buy that.
I don't know if I buy it either. Okay, and so we're going to end this second tier with diving into the royal family, who are the subject of more conspiracy theories than we can count.
Oh, Prince Charles.
You know this one.
Oh, boy. Prince Charles.
This theory pinpoints Prince Charles
hide your kids, hide your wife,
and makes a claim that he may not be a normal human mortal at all, but something far more sinister.
A pedophile.
No. I mean, maybe. I don't know. A creature of the night, something that lurks in the shadows and preys on innocent victims to satiate his lust for blood. A full-fledged vampire. Prince Charles is a vampire, or so people think. The theory seems to have started back in 2011 when Charles promoted a television show that was inspired by his fascination with Romania's Transylvania. He also revealed his relation to 15th century Romanian Prince Vlad the Impaler, who just happened to be Bram Stoker's inspiration for his 1897 story of Dracula. Several theorists believe that due to him touching on his genealogy and blood connection to Vlad, and the fact that he even owns a home in Transylvania, proves that he is a bloodsucker of the night. Outside of the genealogy, Charles and Vlad don't really share much in common, as Vlad was infamous for sadism and torture, amassing tens of thousands of victims, where Charles doesn't really do that shit. Or does he? But yeah, it was interesting because they kept talking, like, it was funny because CBS was like, well, he talked about owning place in Transylvania. He's obviously related to Vlad the Impaler. He obviously has a fascination for all things, gory and whatever. So he's a vampire. True story. It's like, no, I don't think that's really how that fucking works. Like, it's not how it works at all. So yeah, that's it. Prince Charles is a vampire.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I don't know.
I believe it. He's definitely a vampire.
It's funny because, like, everything I was reading, it's like, well, vampires obviously don't exist. It's like, well, no shit. So they tried to break it down like, well, it's obviously a fake. It's like, well, there's more reasons
obvious.
that vampires don't
Thanks,
exist
Reddit.
to be a fake, you fucking douche. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting conspiracy theories. I think we're going to regurgitate a lot of the lizard people, the Illuminati, New World Order, shit like that. Just crazy shit.
I like the lizard people.
You think it's true? You think they're among us, Cleet? Are they living, trying to take over a New World Order?
I don't buy that for a minute.
Subscribers.
But I do think that they're into some weird stuff. The royal family.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Definitely. You just look at them and they're into some sketchy shit. All right, folks, that is going to wrap up Tier 2 in our episode for tonight of the Iceberg Conspiracy Theory of Celebrities. As always, a huge shout out to our paid supporters of the show: Soylent Cleet, Modelo Time, Cleet Feet, Curtis and Lara, Mothman, Devin, Lara, Conklin family, and Lou. Thank you, as always, for your paid support of the show. And if you yourself would like to become a paid supporter of the show, simply click the link below and choose a tier that you want most. Any dollar helps us grow the show and continue to do the things that you love to hear us talk about. And if you have any suggestions of coverage, send it to entertheabysspod@gmail.com, as well as a one-time donation if you want to contribute to the beer fund. There's a link below as well where you can contribute to help us buy some beer.
If you're listening to us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really helps us get us out there. And as always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next time.